Hi and welcome to Top Not Flop. The enormous popularity of streaming services prompted the giant corporation Apple to create its own streaming service, Apple TV+. In this video, I have listed top 10 best and most popular web series on Apple TV+. Make sure to subscribe and hit the like button. And let's start the video. On number 10, Mythic Quest, Raven's Banquet. Ian Grimm is a truly brilliant game developer who has created more than one masterpieces in his lifetime. But as much as the man is creatively brilliant, he is also selfish. All relatives and colleagues know very well that Ian is not the best candidate for pleasant communication and strong relationships. But at some point the atmosphere in the working team finally heats up. Ian Grimm decides to create the most ingenious video game where he will act as the main character, fearless, strong, noble and generous. Such a decision is not to everyone's liking, but employees understand it makes no sense to argue with Grimm. The team of programmers is forced to start working on the most magnificent creation of Ian, but the way to fulfill the dream will not be as rosy and pleasant as the creator and the whole team would like. This is a funny and in some places touching comedy composed entirely of dysfunctional people. On number 9, Slow Horses. Talented MI5 agent Rivera Cartwright is sent to Slough House, the most worthless division of British intelligence, for a high-profile failure. The guy finds himself in the company of losers just like him. Under the guidance of the acrimonious Jackson Lamb, the guilty operatives are forced to rake through papers and rummage through garbage. However, the loser agents find themselves embroiled in a serious case when masked men kidnap a Pakistani student, threatening to kill him on live TV. Now it's up to the team to prove their mettle. A screen adaptation of the book of the same name in Mike Herron's spy novel series. On number 8, Servant. Philadelphia married couple Dorothy and Sean Turner suffered a terrible tragedy when their 13-week-old son one day didn't wake up in his crib. The woman became depressed and stopped going to work, causing the man to resort to the help of a therapist and a little trickery. On the doctor's advice, he bought a baby doll, almost indistinguishable from the real thing, to help inconsolable Dorothy cope with the stress. Soon the family hires Leanne, a young religious nanny, to look after the baby, but the girl is by no means surprised by the artificial baby. On the contrary, she shows extreme concern for the baby, even in the absence of her mother, creeping out the sane Sean. On number 7, Defending Jacob. The drama series will show viewers a truly gripping thriller based on William Landay's best-selling novel of the same name. Andy Barber is a decent family man serving as an assistant district attorney in Boston, Massachusetts. He has built a brilliant career, has a lovely big house, and lives with his beloved wife Lori and son Jacob. But one day the whole idyll collapses in the blink of an eye when his only son is accused of killing a classmate. The investigation department discovers that he wished the murdered man dead, was carrying a sharp knife, and was sitting on websites with questionable content. The evidence gathered was enough to charge the underage student with a vicious crime and hold him accountable. Andrew will have to do everything to prove his son's innocence. Will the father be able to prove his son's innocence, or will he have to accept the monstrous truth? On number 6, Foundation. The events of the sci-fi series are set in the distant future, when mankind has managed to curb space and colonize other planets. Mathematician Hari Seldon, using the science of psychohistory, predicts the imminent fall of the Galactic Empire, a superstate spanning the entire Milky Way, and the onset of chaos and the Dark Ages. Such a prediction threatens the Galactic Emperor with unrest among the people and the weakening of power, which, thanks to cloning technology, has been in the hands of his dynasty for centuries. The ruler of the Galactic Empire tries to portray the scientist's predictions as an attempt to undermine order in the Empire. But what if Seldon is still right and the vast civilization comes to an inevitable catastrophic end? The Empire does entrust Hari with a mission spanning many years, but to fulfill it exiles the scientist and his young assistant, the talented mathematician Gul Dornick, to the remote planet Terminus. Seldon creates the Foundation, an organization that must, in accordance with a 1,000-year plan, preserve and revive civilization in the future. On number 5, Blackbird. America, the 90s. Jimmy Keene is the son of an ex-cop who, thanks to his father's connections and innate charisma, has been able to build a successful business selling guns and drugs. Alas, Jimmy is too overconfident, and the FBI never sleeps. After another wild night he goes to jail, and the sentence promises to be long, 10 years without parole. It would seem that life is over. But everything changes when the feds offer Keen an unusual deal, guaranteeing the coveted freedom. Jimmy must turn on all his charms and gain the trust of Larry Hall, a maniac suspected of murdering 14 girls, who may go free for lack of evidence. On number 4, The Morning Show. In the morning there are popular programs on TV. They lift people's spirits and put them in the mood for work. The morning show hosts are beautiful people who can radiate confidence and optimism. Alex Levy works for a rival channel in New York City. She has been helping Americans wake up for many years, successfully hosting a news program. One day a woman is left without a partner on the program. He is accused of harassment and fired for exceeding his authority. The man's behavior causes intense outrage. There is increased attention to the channel from fans of the show. It gets a bad reputation. The management is trying to save the image of its employees. They decide to change presenters. The boss informs Alex of his intentions to hire a new specialist. The young girl immediately joins the workforce. Jackson is liked by the audience from the first minutes. She covers the information truthfully. Her outspoken behavior scares the sponsors a little. Behind the scenes, an atmosphere of intrigue and female rivalry begins to prevail. The main news leader struggles to keep her job on television. On number 3, C. Many years ago, a terrible virus had devastating consequences. Most of the world's population died, and the 2 million people who survived lost their sight and could never see again. People were forced to return to a tribal way of life, to find a new way of existence and food extraction. Quickly adapting to the new conditions, the priests established their own rules and routines and began to patronize all tribes. Henceforth, all important decisions are made only after the approval of the priests, and those who recollect vision are burned at the stake. One day, Baba Voss's tribe takes in a pregnant woman who has come from outside. The chief of the tribe, who cannot have children, takes her as his wife. Soon the woman gives birth to sighted twins, causing the family to be cursed and called heretics. Wanting to protect her children, Baba Voss decides to flee with the villagers to build a home in a new place, for the birth of the sighted risks upsetting the delicate balance of the new world. On number 2, Severance. In the not-too-distant future, the problem of work-life balance is offered an unusual solution. An experimental technique is introduced in one company. Thanks to a special surgical operation of separation, employees do not remember home at work, and at home they cannot remember work. At the center of the plot is Mark Scout, grieving the recent death of his wife, who works for the huge biotech corporation Lemon Industries. Intending to remain disciplined and attentive at work, he and several other employees voluntarily go to a special surgical procedure to implant a brain implant in order to separate work and personal memories. When a new employee named Helly comes into the office whose separation procedure has resulted in unforeseen side effects, Mark wants to get to the bottom of it, and it involves him in uncovering a sinister corporate conspiracy. On number 1, Ted Lasso. A cheerful and optimistic guy named Ted Lasso is a public favorite. He lives in the Kansas City area and never loses his spirits. He wants to believe that absolutely any problem can be resolved peacefully. The positively minded coach likes to educate the rising generation of talented athletes and point out the mistakes they've made. He knows how to find their strengths and inspire them to new feats. However, fate soon throws him an opportunity to switch from American soccer to European football. The new owner of a famous club offers him a coaching position. The business was inherited by the bright and arrogant beauty Rebecca from her unfaithful spouse. After cheating, the charming woman rushed to divorce her heartless chosen one and take away all the rights to his beloved football club Richmond. After moving to London, the man, unaware of the difference between American and regular soccer, begins training. Thanks for watching this video and do subscribe my channel for new update.